Hey everybody. So I really need to tighten the screws on this stool. So one of the last videos that I did before my break was a rant on E3 2017. And while today I'm not going to talk about E3 anymore, I do want to discuss a little bit more on the Xbox One X, still one of the stupidest names ever, and the PlayStation 4 Pro. Before I get into this, I want to say something. If you didn't have a PS4 beforehand and you bought a PS4 Pro, understand that some of the things I'm going to say do not apply to you. If you don't have an Xbox One and you decided you wanted to wait for the Xbox One X, understand that things I'm going to say don't apply to you. Because I need to really emphasize this. If you don't have one of these consoles already and you're just going to buy the most expensive one, you're fine. I'm not talking about you. However, if you already own an Xbox One, and you intend to get the X, if you already own a PlayStation 4 and you bought a Pro just to upgrade, you're a fucking idiot. I say this because what you've done is you've fallen for another cash grab buzzword bullshit. PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One X are nothing more than cash grabs. They're intermediate systems. They're worthless. I would rather buy a PlayStation 4 Slim, or I'd rather buy a Xbox One S instead of go for the X or the Pro. Because the X and the Pro are nothing more than a cash grab with a buzzword called 4K gaming surrounding them. And that's a real problem. I can't for the life of me understand why it is that everybody's suddenly wanking over 4K when we've been fighting for so long just to have games running at 60 frames per second in 1080p. That should alarm you. Can somebody explain to me out there, any of you, can you explain to me what the appeal is of playing Destiny 2 in 4K, running at 30 frames per second? Explain that to me. I'm waiting. When it comes down to it, the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One X are fucking stupid. And anyone that isn't buying these systems for the first time, aka you don't have one yet, you're just going to buy it, anyone that decides to upgrade to one of these is an idiot. You do not deserve your disposable income because you're a fucking idiot. I don't understand why it is that we're suddenly so enamored by the idea of 4K gaming. By the way, not real 4K gaming, not true 4K gaming, okay? It's checkerboard 4K. It's not native. It's pixelated as shit when you freeze frame and examine it. But you're going to freak out over that when we can't even get 60 frames per second in our games. That's a real problem. I've been playing games for a long time. I was born June 28th, 1990. Literally a 90s kid. Ugh. I've been playing games for a long time. I started off with the NES and the Atari. And while I'm aware I wasn't around for the Atari heydays because it was manufactured before I was alive, I did play it when I was little. I have to emphasize this because I remember one time I made the mistake of saying I started playing games with the Atari. You weren't old enough to play the Atari. Well, shit, I didn't realize they stopped existing after I was born, you fucking lunatic. I had an Atari when I was little. I had an NES when I was little. I have played the SNES, I've played the PlayStation, I've played the Xbox, all the way up through PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One. I am well aware of the different levels of performance that these systems are capable of. I remember a time in which 15 frames per second was the bee's knees. But when it comes down to it, I've seen how games perform, and I understand one fundamental objective fact. This is not opinion, this is fact. When the games are running at a decent frame rate, you are having the most optimal experience possible. And when games aren't running at the optimal frame rate, you're having a bad time. So I have to ask exactly why it is that we're so excited to play these 4K games in 30 frames per second. If you're going to develop stronger hardware, can we at least develop the hardware not to bump up the graphics and get the goddamn frame rate working properly? Don't get me wrong, I like my pretty games, but much in the way that people argue, what's more important, gameplay or story? I have to ask, what's more important, graphics or the frame rate? The performance will always be the more important aspect of a game. I'd rather play a game that's slightly less pretty, but runs better than a fucking slideshow. I don't understand the absolute and abject love affair that these idiots have with this concept of 4K gaming. It's lunacy. Like I said, I have a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One. I understand sometimes people will come by the channel, you're lying, you don't have those. Yeah, dude, shut the fuck up. On the Xbox One and the PS4, I have two games. Gears of War 4 and Uncharted 4. Oh, I forgot. When I was in Georgia, which is where I got this, I got a bunch of goodies because I hung out all day at the GameStop. I got a lot of different things, including a very free Nathan Drake Funko. I hate Funkos. I hate them so much. Anywho, I have these two games, Uncharted 4 and Gears of War 4, on the Xbox One and the PS4 respectively. There's something very interesting about both these games. Both these games are console exclusives. You can only get Gears of War 4 on the Xbox One, unless you're a PC owner. And you can only get Uncharted 4 on the PS4, unless you use PS Now on the PC. Anywho, when it comes down to it, these are system exclusives. So you would think these would be the best of the best. They perform the best, they look the best, they play the best. But here's the weird thing about both these games. Both these games have a campaign and multiplayer. And both these games' campaigns run at 30 frames per second. Don't believe me? Go check. The weird thing is, both these games' multiplayer run at 60 frames per second. So I have to ask the logical question of what the fuck is the problem with getting the game to run at 60 frames per second during the campaign? Now I ask this because you can take multiplayer, something that is being played by a bunch of different people, is being played on different types of internet, running at different pings, whatever the ping is, and MBS and all that. You can get that to run at 60 frames per second. But the campaign that's been handcrafted, you know where every single enemy is going to spawn, you know where every gun is, you know where every set piece takes place. You can't get that shit to run at 60 frames per second. And we're supposed to trust Microsoft and Sony to suddenly be able to handle 4K gaming and it not be a complete shit show? You're being fucking played, you goddamn stupid fanboy gamers. This is why I always laugh when anybody calls me a fanboy. Oh, Brett said something about Sony, he's an Xbox fanboy. Oh, Brett said something about Xbox, he's a Sony pony. No, I play video games. I like video games. It just so happens that I chose to do the boxes that have the exclusives instead of play on PC. And it's this kind of shit that makes me wonder if I should just say fuck it and build a PC to play games so that I can enjoy good graphics and some decent fucking performance. It irritates the piss out of me. Hell, we've got Destiny 2 is planned to come to PC, and already the guys on PC are planning to fix it so that it runs at 60 frames per second like it should. 4K gaming is a buzzword, and you've all fallen for it. I personally would rather have a game run at 1080p and be decent fucking graphics than have it be 4K, faux 4K, and run at a poor frame rate. I would rather have games on PS4 and Xbox One that look like they are late PS3 and Xbox 360 games running at 60 frames per second. It's not always about the graphics, you goddamn idiots. Either way, the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One are fucking shit. Again, if you don't have a PS4 and Xbox One yet and you decide to buy those, you have my blessings. Feel free, get one. I don't care. As long as you're able to play these stellar games. But if you're a person that already has an Xbox One and a PS4, and you're deciding, I'm going to upgrade to the X, or you're like, I upgraded to the Pro, you're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot. And I don't like you very much. When it comes down to it, the more you guys support this shit, the more you pay for it, the more they'll keep doing it. If the PS4 Pro had come out and been dead in the water, I guarantee you the Scorpio production would have stopped. But no, you have dumb people that'll go, oh, it's something new, let me buy it. Meanwhile, I'm sure in 2 years' time we'll have the PS5 and the Xbox whatever being announced. I don't want this to happen. I don't want to turn this industry into a situation like a fucking cell phone where I need to buy a new one every year to keep up with the kiddies. I'm perfectly fine with my PlayStation 4 and my Xbox One. I don't want to upgrade, and you shouldn't either. When it comes down to it, this faux 4K buzzword is bullshit. And I don't appreciate it. I'd rather the games run properly than look pretty. Because again, I've been playing games since the Atari. I've been playing a lot of games. And I'll tell you right now, Rocket Knight Adventures has got me covered. if I ever need to take a break from current gaming. I'm so sorry, Rocket Knight Adventures. Are you okay? I love this. It's mint condition. I hope you got something out of this video. If you're as mad as I am about this shit, then place some comments down in the comment section. Let me know what you think about 4K gaming. Let me know what you think about 30 frames per second versus 60 frames per second. I mean, hell, the PC guys, they can run their shit at 250 frames per second, alright? They have got it, alright? Tell me what you think about this situation. If you like the video, drop a thumbs up. If you hate me and hope that I die by getting my eyes pecked out by demons from hell, drop a dislike. Do take care, everybody.